he knows what speed he's going. He's one of the few jockeys that does know what speed he's going, actually.
Yeah, James?
I think the Skelsons have really had this race in mind for him this year, and they've proven they can do it. They can produce a horse. I think Grey Dawn at 16-1 for me. If I was having an each way bet, I would be. I don't know why, but I've just got a feeling that he's going to run a really big race.
So let's begin. I suppose first quick intro. We've got Mickey Bowen, top trainer. Tom Lacey, top trainer. Dan Astbury, top bloodstock agent on the panel, and then of course Sean and James as well. So I've just been handed this as well. So we've got a notice. What do you say, Erdesley? Champion Jockey Race Night, Tuesday the 12th of May 2026. All proceeds are going to the Erdesley Millennium Green. Tickets are £20. So we've got guest speakers, current champion jockey Sean Bowen, past champion jockey Richard Johnson and James Bowen. How did you get them to agree to be guest speakers? You've done well there. But yeah, find out about that. It'll be another great evening in May time. So this evening's been put on by Fairplay, so fair play to them for that. So I thought I'd get that in. Their connection is with the Bowen Yard. They sponsor the yard, and Martin Gowing has got horses in training with Mickey currently, and his son Billy co-founded Fairplay. We've got a lot of the team here in the back. I was meeting them beforehand, so I didn't get many sandwiches. As I said hello to them. Right, we'll carry on. So the Supreme Novice Hurdle, obviously run over 2 mile, all about speed. I'll just run through a couple of the runners to get us warm up. Old Park Star heads the mark. He's 3 from 3 over hurdles, and since he's joined Henderson, and he beat a good horse in Hurricane Pat by 18 lengths last time, in a very impressive performance. Talk the talk, beat Ballyfad at the DRF. He fell over Christmas, but put that sort of fall behind him last time. El Kairos fell on his hurdling debut as well, and he won a small maiden hurdle in Ireland last time out, but hasn't had exposure in these better races. Then Mighty Park is 7-1, but he'll probably go to the Turners. My Daddy Paddy was 3 from 3 and had a big reputation until he was beaten by Idaho Sun in the Formby, and he also runs around 12-14-1. And then Sober Glory is 12-1. He won impressively at Newbury last time. So Tom, we'll come to you first. We'll show Mickey how this sort of thing works. We'll give him a second. So, how do you see the race unfolding, and what do you fancy?
For Willie Mullins is very, for him, he looks like he's got a very weak hand, so I suppose it's going to be interesting to see what Paul Townend rides. Old Park Stark, as you say, has been impressive, although I wouldn't necessarily say Hurricane Pat was a very good horse. He did beat him convincingly. It looks a pretty, poor Supreme, really, in the sense of, you haven't got 4 or 5 to go at. As I say, I think it'll be interesting what Paul Townend rides. It's going to be pretty hard to get behind the Willie Mullins string this year, even though the man's a genius with obviously a very deep string of horses. His horses just haven't fired this time for whatever reason. Mickey probably knows more about that than anyone, probably because you're not there, Mickey.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah.
Mickey spent about 6 weeks there. Was it a year ago?
2 years.
2 years ago?
2 years, yeah, no.
Place has fallen apart since, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, yeah. What can I say? Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure what the forecast between now and then is, but I think Sober Glory is probably a decent price if it comes up soft. He's an each way bet. I think it's, Idaho Sun is the same. He needs some softer ground. I think it's very hard to oppose Old Park Star, to be truthful.
Dan?
Obviously, as Tom said, Old Park Star has looked very good, but just one question mark, whether he might just have the tactical speed coming to between 3 and 2 out would be my only slight question. El Kairos looks like he's got so much speed, but again, will his jumping hold up when the race really quickens? That is a possible question mark. And then talk to talk again, he was very impressive last time. Stiff finish would definitely suit, but I just again question whether he's got the tactical speed too. But if I had to, maybe Willie Mullins has got one hiding in there in Sober, who had extremely good flat form and has done nothing wrong in winning both his hurdles. So he could be one to look at a massive price.
Yeah, he's around 20-25 to 1. He's had one start of hurdles, hasn't he? He's quite
2 now, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he had one before Ascot when he won at Royal Ascot, and then he's had one since Royal Ascot.
Oh, of course, yeah, one in recent months, and just the question mark is if he goes 2 or 2.5, really, isn't it? Do you know? Have you heard anything on that?
I've heard that he goes 2 mile and they're going to keep Mighty Park for 2.5. So yeah, that would make plenty of sense, like you said, if Mighty Park does go for the Turders.
Yeah, I think he is good value at those sort of prices. Mickey?
I can't see any further than Old Park Star myself. El Kairos is obviously very good horse, but his jumping hasn't been up to scratch at all. So yeah, Old Park Star for me.
Yeah, I think Old Park Star is probably the solid one. Henderson and Mullins usually win this race, and I think he'd be quite straightforward tactically. I think probably Sober Glory will go a good gallop. He'll sit in second, and you won't be waiting for the race to run to suit him, I think. And yeah, I think Sober's actually a very good shout as well. So potentially a winner and each way bets there for you both. So perfect. Right, we'll move on to the second race, the Arkle. The first race of offences at the festival. One of the most popular races of the meeting, which has a rich history. Winners this century include Moscow Flyer, Azertiop, Well Chief, Sprinter Sacra, Simon Sig, Underso, Altia and Shishkin. Like probably some of the most popular horses we've had in training over the last 20 years. So it's a great race. Lulamba heads the market. He's 3 from 3 over fences. He won a Grade 1 hurdle last year under James, so he must be a good horse. And he won the Game Spirit and the Henry VIII on recent starts. Looks like he's got bundles of ability. So the question mark with him is if he can jump well and travel well enough, and he's really a true miler. Quebec de Boards, he won the Supreme last year. He's between 2 to 1 and 11 to 4. He's only had one chase start, so that's a big question mark for him. Cargizi was second behind Romeo Coolio in the Irish Arkle at the DRF recently and is around 5 to 1. Romeo Coolio then is 4 from 4 over fences. 3 of those have been Grade 1s. The question mark with him is that he probably wants a trip. He could be a Gold Cup horse in time. It's just whether he's going to cope with the 2 miles here in the Arkle. He's around 5 to 1. And then of the others, the British one, Steel Ally, is 3 from 3 over fences and a 2-time Grade 2 winner, including the Kingmaker last time. He's around 14 to 1. How do you see this unfolding, Mick?
Well, I reckon Lulamba's the one myself. His jumping probably was a bit sticky the last day, but against the old handicappers, he'd have to be the one. But I think at a price, you'd have to go Steel Ally, 14 to 1. I think he's a steal at that myself. If I was a gambling man, but I'm not. So yeah, that's the way I see it. I'd say Lulamba, I'd say he'd be the one to beat myself.
Lulamba likely winner, Steel Ally the bet at 14 to 1. Solid horse.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, it's hard to get away from Lulamba. He's obviously got in open chase company, he's got that experience, and Kopek de Borez Doors or whatever his name is, he's only had one run, hasn't he, over fences. So yeah, I think the best of the rest myself is Irish Panther at 12 to 1 each way.
Dan?
I think it's a race that will, by halfway, you'll have a good idea what's going to win, because if Lulamba's in a good rhythm and jumps well early on, he'll take a lot of beating, but Kopek could just get him at the sword early. If him and Irish Panther go hard early on, which looks like could be the case, but I do agree with Tom, if Irish Panther does get in a good rhythm in front like he did when nearly beating Romeo Coolio, he looks a very good each way price at whatever it is, 14, 16 to 1.
Okay, James and Sean Bowen have joined us, ladies and gentlemen. A little round of applause. James running a double today down at Wincanton. How do you get on, Sean?
Not as well as James. We pull them down.
So we're talking about the Arkle, yeah, pick 'em up, and then James, you're obviously in the Henderson team. Quick word on Old Park Star.
Yeah, Old Park Star. I think he's an oh Jesus, Sean. He's a nice horse. He's still got a bit to prove there, and I suppose all the rest of the field do as well. But I wouldn't be having to go on him at 2-1 anyway.
Interesting. How do you see it, Sean?
I disagree. He said he's going to disagree with me all day, so I'll disagree with him. No, I think he's just a classy horse. I think he's one that he's a bit like the Altior, Shishkin, all them types of horses that Nicky Henson has. He looks a similar type, and yeah, look, I just think he's the classiest horse in the race. I thought there's a few in there that could sort of travel to turning in, maybe Al Cairo and My Daddy Paddy. I thought them two could probably travel to turning in, but I just think that horse has plenty of class and stays very, very well.
Gallop him into the ground.
Exactly.
And then we'll move on to the Arkle then, so we're halfway through that. If you two want to, unless you want to get your phones out for a second, have a quick scroll, is it?
Yeah, we're winging it.
By the way, that's what James told me to do this morning. So.
Lamber's in this, James.
Yeah, I really fancy Lamba. I think Kopek de Board will struggle after only having one run. I don't think he's probably, like, Kopek de Board might be a very good horse over fences, but then Lamba has got more experience, even though he's a younger horse, and he showed last time he can mix it with open horses, not out of novice company, so he's improved all season. I'd be surprised if anything beats him. Cargeese had way too hard a race last time, I think. Romeo Coolio also had a hard race. He's probably a bit, I'd imagine he'd be a bit hardier than Cargeese, but I don't see him good enough to win over 2 miles myself.
Yeah, look, Lumba's obviously had open company experience, which I think will be a massive benefit to him. Having run in Newbury against open horses, I think it's just them novices like Kopek de Board. He's had one run over fences. It's going to be very, very hard to go and win after doing that. Romeo Coolio, I'd actually fancy Cargeese to change them results around from Leopardstown. But yeah, it does look a 2-horse race. I actually heard Mickey saying Steel Alley at a big price, and I do think he could sort of outrun his odds a little bit, but it looks a 2-horse race. But I just think Lumba's experience will be a big sort of factor in all this.
Have we had an opinion of everyone in this race? I got a bit distracted with the boys making a late entrance, so we'll move on to the champion hurdle then.
Whoa, what about the Fred Winter?
Go on.
I think Manlago will win the Fred Winter.
Right, okay.
Winter.
You definitely haven't got them in your notes, have you?
No, I was going to do... I was going to do... Manlaga's Henderson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to come back to all at the end of day one.
Okay, sorry.
We'll
I jumped the gun a bit.
I was going to... Yeah, well, we haven't really chatted because obviously you've arrived late, but... I thought we'd keep it like grade ones mostly, and then like at the end of the day we'll... Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
I think you said all you need to say about Manlago. You know, James Bowen goes, whoa, on my phone. You've got a horse that's worth talking about. But we'll come back to that. Remind me though. Champion hurdle. Obviously, we can actually save ourselves half an hour discussing the moral dilemma of if Constitution Hill is going to run in this race and whether it's right for racing or not, because he's not running in the race. I've just got the new prices up here without him. The New Lion, 9-4, Brighter Days Ahead, 10-3, Lossy Mouth, 7-2, Golden Ace, 13-2. And it's actually a race you probably should keep going further down a bit as well. Poneros, 12-1, Alexi, 16-1. Now it's a race they've all got questions to answer. The New Lion, for me, is he good enough? Is he at this level? And is he truly a 2-miler? Brighter Days Ahead is 0 from 2 at Cheltenham. Constitution Hill, on my notes, I made them will he run, but we now know that one. And Lossy Mouth, will she run in the maze? Golden Ace, has her luck run out? Mick, how do you see it unfolding?
Well, I actually spent a lot of time on this race yesterday, and it was all about Constitution Hill. I've been looking down it. I don't think Alexia is classy enough. Brighter Days Ahead, I think she'd have to have a right chance, wouldn't she? Obviously, Golden Ace, obviously 13-2. I think she'll run a right race again, 100%. But at the winner probably it's got to be New Lion, is it? I think so.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
convincing.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
but-
you
Well, he's
you
almost
go
up
down
ahead
all
of the market
day. Yeah.
by process of elimination a little bit. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, so I sort of get the logic there. Tom, how do you see it?
I can't have the New Lion as a champion hurdle horse at all. I don't think he's good enough. He hasn't caught my eye well enough to win a champion hurdle, but the biggest problem is what's going to beat him. Lossymouth will probably go in the mares, won't she? Brighter Days Ahead does seem to be in better nick this year, but Golden Ace stuffed her out of sight last year. I think Alexi's had quite a hard season actually. I can't see him turning up to win a champion hurdle on the back of that. It's probably the most uninspiring champion hurdle I can recall seeing, quite truthfully.
Not like you to be negative, Tom.
Well,
I'm trying not to get so excited.
I'm going to give you a bit of positivity now. In that I don't think Golden Ace's luck has run out actually, and I fancy her to do back-to-back champion hurdles. I think she's underrated. I just can't have the New Lion as a champion hurdle horse, I don't think.
Right, boys, that end, no one say New Lion because Tom said it can't win. You sound pretty sure. Dan, how do you see it?
I actually agree with Tom. I'd be very surprised if New Line was good enough. I've got a feeling Willie might switch Lossymouth yet. Like, for him not to have something in the top few in the betting in the champion hurdle, I just think she will probably run. I know she's a lot short for the mares still, but I can see her making the switch and winning it. She's obviously gets to £7. I don't think Brighter Days Ahead loves Cheltenham, and I think she'd definitely reverse that form anyway from the OF.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think last year, Rich Ritchie basically said the deciding factor in not running her in the race was the stable jockey, Paul Townend, thought Willie had a better one in their own yard. And I have a feeling without that horse there, they might have a swing at it. But it'd probably be a no runner, no bet sort of bet at the moment. And it sounds like she hasn't been in, they don't think they've quite had it right all season, but I think tip-top perhaps, but I think I'd take a chance that she'd come right by the middle of March, for me anyway. James?
I actually look at this race and try and get the New Lion beat, and because I think the same way as Tom and Dan, and I've never thought he's going to win a champion hurdle, but he's the obvious one at the minute, and but I think I like Brighter Days Ahead. She's never really performed around Cheltenham, whether that means anything or not. Lossymouth, I think she'll probably run in the mares, but you got a good point about running her in that. But I thought Ponyross actually had a good chance in it. He's only had 3 starts over hurdles. It was heavy ground after a long layoff last time, and he stayed on okay, like past very tired horses. But I thought he could improve, and he obviously beat the Lambert in Cheltenham last year, so he might not be good enough. But again, I'm sort of trying to just find a horse to beat the New Lion, because I don't think he can win a champion hurdle.
Yeah, I think in a race where lots of people are looking to take the favourite on and then go through the list and find excuses with everything else.
There's nothing. there is
Someone's got to
nothing.
win it, I'm nearly sure.
You're all smoking crack. I'm telling you.
They're all crap. You wouldn't mind having a few of them in your yard.
No, I said you all must be smoking crack.
Oh, sorry.
The New Lion's got to win.
By process of elimination.
Yeah, 100%. It's got to win.
I think someone's got to beat him.
What's wrong with Golden Ace? Shouldn't have done much wrong. He hasn't done a whole lot right, really.
I can't have it. Not again.
It doesn't quite work like that.
Luck will run out. Got to run out.
Sean?
I actually think if Tutti Quanti gets supplemented, he could run okay, but I think what he will do is give Brighter Days Ahead a very nice lead. I think she needs a very, very strong gallop to win over 2 miles, and I think she stays well. I actually don't believe that she doesn't perform at Cheltenham. I thought she ran well in the mares novice hurdle, and I thought she should have won that day, just because they went very steady and it turned it into a sprint, and Golden Ace out-sprinted her. So if they had a strong gallop at the race, I think Brighter Days Ahead would be the best of them. But we've all gone through this race and all picked a different horse. It's one of them types of races, and yeah, she's the one for me.
I thought it was interesting with Tutti Quanti. He won the William Hurdle at Newbury by about 20 lengths, didn't he? Off 138. He's now rated 151. I think on the day, Nicol said, if it comes up heavy ground at Cheltenham, we'll definitely run, we'll supplement. And I heard him yesterday or today say, you know, as long as it's good to soft. Right, so that's the grade ones on day one. We'll go through sort of picks elsewhere now, and I've got a couple of your sort of between the panel, your connections here. James, do you have one you want to start us off with here?
The Fred Winter, maybe?
What are you talking about, sorry?
Oh,
sorry, Fred Winter. Are we going back to the Fred Winter now?
Yeah, I'll say it again.
Oh no, I think she's got a great chance. Yeah, if she hadn't run last time, I thought she was a certainty. But she actually went up £3, which isn't obviously a good thing. But she's good. She's a good horse now, and I'd say she'd be well enough 130.
Sean, you might be riding Ames in that race, is that right? You fancy him a bit?
Yeah, look, he's up there in the betting. He was very, very impressive.
Around 10 to 1, I think, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was very impressive in his first two starts. I thought I must have done something horribly wrong to get him beat at Wetherby, and it turns out that the horse is now running in the Triumph and is just a little bit better than us. So that was Manella's study, I think, of Adam Nichols. Yeah, I think he's nicely handicapped off 128. He's rated 89 on the flat. He's a good flat horse. He's enjoyed his jumping, and look, it's one of them races. JP McManus has probably been stopping 3 of these for the last year to try and win this race. So
put it a nicer way, Sean.
Yeah.
This is going on social media, by the way.
building towards Cheltenham. Should we say that?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, look, they obviously. My horse hasn't been handicapped for the race, and there's about 4 or 5 in the race that have been handicapped for it, so they could be difficult to beat.
And Dan, you bought Indian River, is that right? Is he going to run in this?
Well, that was the plan, and then the Irish handicapper, well, the English handicap tries to help us out by putting all the Irish horses up £5 or £7, and now it looks like we might not actually get in the race. So whilst we look like the plan all year was to try and get him off the low 120s, he's 122, which would have got him the last 2 years. But with the English handicapper putting all the Irish horses up £5 to £7, it looks like he might not get in. But if he does get in, he should have a great chance, because he has been trained for the race and is unbeaten over hurdles.
And you're very closely linked to the Greenall Guerrero yard as well, and they've got Jaguar and Iroko in the Ultima, and will they potentially both go there?
Well, yeah, I think the news today, I think it's actually out that Irocco's not going to Kelso on Saturday, and he's going to go for the Ultima as well. Both horses seem in great form, both actually worked well this morning, so yeah, all being well, they're both running the Ultima, and Jaguar's obviously stepping up and tripped by half a mile, and if he does improve for that, he should be right there, hopefully.
It looks like it'll suit him. Do you think it will?
Yeah, I mean, it's an unknown. He obviously finishes well over 2.5, 2 mile 5. But the extra, hopefully it should suit him. But obviously it is a slight question mark. But for a race like that, you probably do need an improvement, which hopefully will come in the step up and trip.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything on day one for you, Tom, elsewhere? Or anything you fancy? Or
I mean, sticking with the Fred Winter, I think Dignam's an interesting horse. He won his first few hurdle races, and then he finished 5th in a Auteuil race, a Grade 1 in Auteuil. He's been castrated. He got castrated in December. He hasn't run for 114 days. Very shrewd operation. 16 to 1, nice each way bet.
perfect. And Sean, Resplendent Grey, will he go to the Ultima?
There was a chance. I was actually on the phone to Ollie on the way up, and he just asked James, does he want to ride in the Gold Cup? So there's a chance he could. It depends on what the owner wants to do, basically. So, yeah.
And James, does your Gold Cup ride have a chance?
If I ride it, I'll win.
Come on. There you go. Some potential breaking news if true. I'm not sure about the win bit, but Sean, a couple of horses you've been connected with or won on in the National Hunt Chase, the Weighed Out, who you'll probably ride, and Back Me or Sack Me, who you have seen to great effect on at the DRF recently. Exactly. On him there.
Yeah, obviously Weighed Out's been trained for the race. He's obviously a bit frustrating in that he races very, very lazy, and he's not as slow as he makes out. I think if he gave himself a chance in the early part of the race, he could run well, but he's also a horse that could get himself on the back foot and make it very hard for himself. So I think
there's a theory with him though that you sort of switch these horses off so it makes you look better when they stay on and win. Is that right?
I don't know if I could do that on Cheltenham, but I'll try. But he might have blinkers on, and that might sharpen him up. But he does need to race properly. Back Me or Sack Me actually really surprised me at Leopardstown over 2 mile 5. I just didn't think he'd be quick enough over 2.5, and he'd obviously been trained for this race, which is a mile up in trip. So I thought he was a stayer all day long, and look, he looks the obvious favourite for the race, doesn't he?
Yeah, right. Banker on each day, everyone. Mick, in a word. Shall I run through your choices again? So you sound pretty keen on Lulamba?
Lulamba, yeah, and Old Park Star, I think the two.
Old Park Star, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom?
That also mentioned in the Fred Winter, Dingban or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
14 to 1 each way. It's no good giving the favourites every time.
Yeah, but he did say a certainty.
Who?
Well, this is Banker.
Yeah, it's Banker, that's a fair
right.
shout.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Can defeat lads.
Yes, it's 14 to 1. That's a good each way bet.
I wasn't going to tell Tom he wasn't listening.
Sorry about that.
I'll go Lossy Mouth if she does go for the champion. I do think that Willie will switch her. And if he does, I think she'll take a lot of beating. We all know how good she is around Cheltenham, so.
Lulamba.
Yeah, Old Park Star, I think, is the classiest horse in the Supreme.
Yeah, Old Park Star would be the one for me. I think Lulamba has the chance of bumping into a top class horse in Quebec Awards if he gets it all right. So I think Old Park Star would be the one for me. Right, day 2 then. We'll move on unless I missed any other sneaky ones, James. You got bored now, have you?
No, let's go to day 2.
Right, we'll start day 2, the Wednesday. The Turners novice hurdle over 2 mile 5. At the top, Mighty Park is now favourite after one run over hurdles with Willie Mullins, and he's been talked up by him as well, which is rare. So 7-2. No drama this end. Has been untouchable in 3 starts in the UK this year, including the Grade 1 Challow last time. Skylight Hustle, he won the Grade 1 2 mile novice at Christmas and was upside Talk the Talk when he fell. Talk the Talk looked like he was going to win on that occasion. Ballyfad got nailed by Talk the Talk late on last time and beat Leader Dahlia previously, who could potentially be the Mullins number 1 pick at in the Supreme potentially. And then Dr. Steinberg, I think he's probably going to run in the Albert Bartlett, but I think he could have a great chance in this if he ran here. And then Active Innocence, he won the Sydney Banks last time out, but he's beaten by a horse called Manella Yoga before that, getting about 2 stone off him. James, what do you like in the race and what do you think of Active Innocence?
I think Active Innocence is a very good horse. I worked him actually in the piece of work where Constitution Hill worked in Newbury at the start of the season before he went to Newcastle, and I thought that day, geez, I've ridden a nice one there. I don't think he's really relayed his work onto the track yet. I know he's produced some really good performances, but I thought I'd see a lot more from him than what I've seen. And if he shows what he can do at home on the track, then he will win, but he hasn't shown that yet. So I know it's hard to say that after winning a listed race last time, but he does work very well, and it's kind of, he's 12 to 1, and that's probably what he should be, I think.
Yeah, I suppose when you're dealing at this level, the Turners, I mean, saying he's won a listed race last time and he still hasn't shown what he shows at home, obviously he must be good workhorse.
Very good, yeah.
Do you think that'll just be him forever, and his ability at home doesn't necessarily quite tie in with his at the track? Is there a reason why that could change potentially?
There's a lot of horses that work well at home and like show nothing on the track, but I suppose he's shown that he can be good, like, but it's I don't know why he would suddenly improve in a race. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to fancy him, but on his work at home, you would really fancy him.
Anything you like in the race otherwise? Sean, do you want to go?
Yeah, I think it's madness that Mighty Park is favourite after winning a maiden hurdle. Look, obviously, like you said, Willie Mullins has talked him up, which is obviously a fair shout.
It's not a bad thing, Sean.
Sorry?
What's that?
I said it's not a bad thing, Willie Mullins talking also.
Yeah, well, he knows what he's on about, so it helps. But I just can't. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but he got beat by Harry Lowes in a point, who won today. He has a mark of 121, and he's had one run in the maiden hurdle. I don't know. I just think it's mental that he's favourite for a Grade 1 at Cheltenham.
It's a big leap to take, isn't it? And I'd be in your camp really on that.
Yeah, and obviously No Drama this end has been very impressive all season. But I, like you said, Dr. Steinberg, I don't know if he's definitely going here or the Albert Bartlett, but I think if he goes here, he'll have a massive chance. I actually think if he runs an Albert Bartlett, he'd have less of a chance, just because I think he'd race too keen. I followed him round in Leopardstown the last day, and he's quite keen. Travelled very strong the last day. But I think he's a very good horse, and I think if he was to run, he's 10-1 here. I think he'd have a massive chance.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that really. I think without him in the race, I like No Drama this end. If Dr. Steinberg did run, I'd probably switch to Dr. Steinberg. Dan, how do you see it?
I actually agree about Dr. Steinberg, but the fact he's not running here and Mighty Park is running here probably also talks volumes. I was actually at Quakerstown when Harry Lowes beat him in his point-to-point, and he's an absolute monster of a horse to look at. He probably just was very raw as a 4-year-old. Donica 4, he was the best horse he had, Donica Doyle. And yeah, I think this could be a bit of a freak. I know he's obviously got to beat all the trends in coming here on the back of only one run, but the fact that Dr. Steinberg looked as good as he did at DRF, and he's not coming to the turners where Willie normally sends his best novice, probably speaks volumes how much I do think of Mighty Park.
And is that enough for you then?
What's that, sorry?
That's enough for you to go beside his Mighty Park then, yeah. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, Dan's explained it very well. Mighty Park's got to break a trend of the last 12 years, if he wins this off the back of one run. Hasn't been done for 12 years. I think No Drama this end has been mightily impressive. I don't think he's even had the stick picked up on him yet. We chased him home at Newbury in the Challow with Monty Mares, and he looked mightily impressive to me. He actually beat a horse of mine in a point-to-point at Badbury Ring, so the horse has been a bit of a thorn in my side. But
it must be a good horse then.
well, not necessarily, but he appears to be. But yeah, I'm a big fan of his. He's a good advert for English pointing, which is huge to me. And it's interesting what Sean said about Mighty Park and the point-to-point form with Harry Lowes. I mean, Harry Lowes is not sort of... Monty Mares beat him at Market Raisin, and he's won a little race around Bangor today. So I think Mighty Park's got a lot to find. There has been money for him the last couple of days, but I'm going to stick with No Drama this end.
Mick?
I think if Willie Mullin says Mighty Park, I think that's all we need to know, really.
Don't deep it.
Yeah.
Good enough for you?
Yeah.
Well, I think
that's more than good enough for me.
I mean, he won a Fairy House maiden hurdle by 38 lengths, and that combined with they obviously know what they're doing there. I think there's good reason why he's very near the top of the market. It is a bit to prove still, like James says about horses at home and all that, working better than they show in a race, and he's still got to prove he's really up to this level. But anyone fancy something at a big price to run into a place or something?
The only thing I would say quickly, going back to Mighty Park, and you're saying he's only won a maiden hurdle, he won it by 38 lengths, beating a horse who since El Keros only beat 2 lengths. So if we're thinking El Keros has as much ability as they clearly do, it probably was a very, very good performance, even if it was a maiden hurdle.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point as well. Anyone got anything big priced in this race? Give a shout out to?
Cryptic Jim.
Yeah, the Tizard horse.
Yeah,
Looks,
he's a nice horse.
I thought he should run in the Albert Bartlett, no?
Yeah, probably. But I didn't know he's entered in the other
no,
part.
I think Joe Tizard came out saying after he won at Cheltenham he'd probably come to this race.
Yeah.
But I'd fancy him running in a 3 miler really. He looks like he just gallops all day.
Yeah, he was 3rd in the champion bumper in Newton Abbott. it was like the best bumper ever to be run around Newton Abbott, and he's won 3 times since. But his jumping isn't that good. But I'm sure if he puts it all together, he could run a good race.
Perfect. Right, we'll move on to the second race then on day 2. The Brown Advisory, the novice chase over 3 mile 1 now. It's just been extended slightly. This can obviously be a big stepping stone to next year's Gold Cup winner. And Final Demand was many people's ideas of the banker of the whole festival until he was turned over last time. He's still at the top of the betting, but now he has to defy a stat that only 2 winners this century had failed to finish in the first or second last time out and come to win this race. He was 3rd in the Turners last year and seemed a natural over fences. Romeo Coolio second in the betting, but he'll probably go to the Arkle. He's 5-1. The Big Westerner was second in the Albert Bartlett last year. Probably wants soft ground though, and is 5-1. But her trainer comes to form at this time of year. Henry de Bromhead. Kate Dorothy has improved over fences a lot and beat Final Demand last time. Wendigo was 5th when hampered in the Albert Bartlett last year and was behind Kitsbull in the Grade 1 at Kempton over Christmas, but going the wrong way, and that was probably the wrong track for him. And then Western Fold is an interesting horse. He's had 11 chase starts and turns up in the Brown Advisory, but he seems to be getting better and enjoys good ground. Mick, how do you see the race turning out?
Well, Wendigo, I know he beat nothing the last day in air, but he didn't. I love the way he went through the race, jumped unreal, he travels well. I think he's got a right chance.
Yeah, he seems like a natural horse for the race. I think conditions were well against him at Kempton, going the wrong way on a speed track on good ground. And I think when he finished 5th in the Albert Bartlett last year, he was sort of an obvious horse to go and run really well in this race.
Yeah, and I just loved. I know there was nothing behind him the last day, but I just loved everything he did. The last day. So
yeah, Tom.
I think Oscar's brother. He looks like he stays well and jumps well, but he's a 10-1 shot, and I think he's got a good chance in this race.
Yeah, so he's trained by Conor King, a former jockey who's only got 2 horses in training. What a horse to have as one of your 2 long string, but and he's been bought by JP McManus recently, hasn't he, before his last win?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he was impressive last time. How do you see it, Dan?
Final Demand possibly has been stuck in the mud the last twice, but he has obviously got questions to answer. Big Western looks very solid, she'll stay all day, but I actually agree with Tom. I think Oscar's brother, if it was trained by someone else, he could arguably be nearly favoured for the race. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. Bolted up first time, last time since JP bought him, and he just does look rock solid, very good to jump. Obviously, he's also entered in the Grand National. Whether a novice can go and win the Grand National again, I'm not sure, but I think he's got a big chance in this, and at 10-1, it's probably a good each way bet.
2 for Oscar's brother, James?
Yeah, I'd probably stick to Final Demand. I was really impressed with him the first time he ran over fences. He's a very good jumper, and I know he's obviously got a question to answer, like Dan said, but he's the one for me. He's got a bit of class, I think.
Forgive him his last run. He looks like a proper chaser, doesn't he?
Yeah, if he didn't run last time, he'd be probably odds on for this.
Yeah. Sean?
Yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I thought I was gonna be the only one going for Oscar's brother, but
I thought you were clever and you gutted with Tom.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Dan went on to agree as well, gutted. But No, I think he's a strong stayer. I think you obviously have to stay very, very strong to win this race. Final Demands obviously looked classy in the past. I don't really have a strong opinion on it, to be honest, but I just thought Oscar's brother was 10 to 1. He'd stay very well and he'd jump.
Yeah, there's a few sort of old-fashioned staying types in this. Final Demand, Big Westerner, Wendigo looks like that type, and Oscar's brother as well. So tough race to pick through. I'd probably forgive Final Demand his last run. He was, like I say, a lot of people's idea of the banker of the meeting, and I just sort of fancy Willie to have him right on the day, really. So moving on then, a lot of people's favourite race of the whole year now is the Queen Mother Champion Chase. It's been a graveyard for, not literally, but it's been a bad place for odds-on favourites. 7 odds-on favourites have been beaten in this race in the last 10 years, probably because it's the ultimate test of jumping at speed, and it tends to expose frailties in the jumping of horses. And at the top of the market, we got Madgeborough, who was imperious last time, but looks like the classic type to find his frailties exposed here, with his jumping was a big question mark before that. He's 6 to 4, 7 to 4. Marine National, second favourite. He's last year's winner. He was second to Madgeborough last time out. That was on soft, heavy ground, and he's a good ground horse and has won twice at the festival. Elate Tomps would probably be favourite for this race if he hadn't have ran in the Clarence House or had married up his form to before that race. He had a heavy fall last time though, so he's got to bounce back from that. He's 6, 7 to 1. Load of Sud, he won the Schlur. The Skeltons keep saying he needs to run fresh, so they run him 3 weeks later, and he got beat in the Tingle Creek. But to be fair to them, they've given him all the time in the world now, and he will put his best foot forward, I think, in this race this year. John Bon, he'll probably go to the Ryanair, and Calixios, I wouldn't forget him. He's around 16 or 20 to 1. He fell upsides Marine National in last year's champion chase, probably coming out second best there, but he's not been seen since. He's getting older, but I think he's got form of something like 1-1-1-2-1 when he's come back from a break. So he's a type a lot of people are going to be put off by because of his age, but he might just outrun those odds. Sean, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, look, it's obviously Margeborough, I thought was like very, very impressive. It's the first time I've seen him jump and travel the way he did now with the cheek pieces on last time. So he was obviously impressive, but I was so impressed with Load of Sud the first time out this season. Look, I could be completely wrong, and he might not be good enough at all, but I just think him being very, very fresh, trained for the race. Dan Skelton's obviously brilliant at getting him ready for the right day, and I just thought he was so impressive, and I just don't think that could be a fluke, to be honest.
James?
I thought Madgeborough was, like Sean said, impressive, but it will be hard for him to back it up, I think, because he isn't a good jumper. I know he's a lot better last time, but he'd only need to make 1 or 2 mistakes in this, and he's on the back foot and probably won't win. And I think everyone else riding the race will know that and won't give him an easy time. I know he had to go quite fast to get to the front last time out, but it'll be end to end, and there'll be something taking him on. I thought like Elite Tom was quite a big price, to be honest. He's very impressive in Sandown a couple of times. Obviously, like the ground probably went against him a little bit last time, maybe. There must be a reason for why he didn't run his race, but he's obviously got loads of ability, and I think on a good day he could probably beat all of these.
Yeah, Dan?
Personally, I think this race is going to depend on what the ground's like. If it comes up soft, I think Margeborough will be in his comfort zone and his jumping will hold up a bit like it did at DRF. I think if it comes up on the good to soft side, then he might just struggle to keep his jumping like it was last time. And on good ground, Marine National, he seemed to hate the ground last time. After 3 fences, you were very surprised he'd even finish the race. So to still finish second, I think on good ground, Marine National will take a lot of beating. But I know it's sitting on the fence, but I think a lot for this race will come down to the ground and just whether Margeborough can be in his comfort zone.
Tom?
Yeah, Marv, he jumped like a different horse with the cheek pieces on, as Sean said. there is obviously that risk that his jumping doesn't hold up, but I don't see why it shouldn't. The cheap pieces seem to work wonders, and I thought Mark Walsh gave him a really good, aggressive, positive ride, which I thought suited him. Tom, the fall at Sandown, he was never travelling from the get-go, was he? He never looked a happy horse. And occasionally you see that with some of Willie's coming over to the English races. They just, whether the travelling gets them or what, I don't know, but you can't say that across the board because it's clearly not the case. But he's had one or two that have flopped over the years. Tom's clearly a class horse. I love watching him as well. He's like a little terrier, and he is a terrier too. He's not very big at all. He's a superb racehorse.
Isn't he?
Yeah. I'd love to see him win it. I can't stomach Barry Connell. Really.
So he can win.
Well, he possibly can, but I'm not quite sure who he thinks he's trying. He certainly has a very annoying effect on me anyway. But I think it's obviously the top 4 horses in the market that are the 4 dangers. I'm going to stick with Margeborough.
Yeah, I'd say plenty of people annoy you, Tom, but if you get a shout out from the mics in your hand, you're doing a good job.
Well, I'll just echo what everybody's saying about Margeborough, really. I thought he was unbelievable with the cheap pieces on. Travelled well, jumped well, and hosed up, didn't he? And then Marie National's obviously got a load to find off that. And then you can't really forget L.A. de Tom's. Like, if you look at his form before he fell the last day, it is quite unbelievable. And if Willie gets him back to that form, then he's going to take a lot of beating, I believe, and there's no better man to get him back to that form. So
Yeah.
I do think he's a nice price at 8 to 1, to be honest.
Yeah, I think for me, with a horse like Margeborough, when a horse gets a very, very good ride or the race goes there well, you've almost got to mark them down next time. And I thought the race just went so smoothly for him last time. Solness, who likes making the run in, got off to a slow start, basically wiped out Marie Nationale to the first fence, and then basically had a freebie from there, and it allowed him to put up a very good performance. But I don't know if I could be backing him as a short price favourite in a race like this, certainly. When I saw it take Tom's fall at Ascot, I thought, well, he won't be winning the champion chase, but time's a great healer, and I'm hoping it's healed him, because it's healed my memories of thinking that. And as time's gone on, I just sort of think, I got my doubts about Margeborough. I don't know how good Marie Nationale really is, albeit he's a 2-time festival winner. And I'd probably come down on the side of L.A. Tom's, but it would be between him or Load of Sud for me. So there we go. We've just about mentioned everything at the top of the betting for that one. Right, moving on then to the final race on day 2, and I think, Dan, you're going to be our expert on this race, I think. Champion Bumper. When I was going through the form of this, it was basically horse's name, trained by Mullins, won at Irish Track by 9 lengths last time, and repeat that, change the name of the track, change the distance from 24 lengths to 9 lengths to 5 lengths to 11 lengths, and there's a couple of others in there as well. For me, I saw a horse though before we started called Oh My Word, who won a listed Navan Bumper last time against 4 or 5 other good rivals coming into the race, and he absolutely took off at the furlong pole. It was like he was doing a half speed all the way round, and as the other ones, everything else reached top gear and were going nowhere, he let the handbrake off. So he'd be one for me at 14 to 1, I think his biggest price is. But Dan, have you got a bit of a take on the race?
So, yeah, Oh My Word, you mentioned, I know the horse well because I rang up about 30 seconds after the race to try and buy him, as I'm sure every agent did, and the answer was the owner was keeping him, which is obviously very nice for them.
What do you think he'd be worth? How much money could he fetch, do you think, after that?
He probably, I'd say, he would have been around the $500,000 mark, I'd say. Probably 500 to 600, I'd say.
How much did he offer? You like start at 50?
I didn't get to that point. But no, it's a race. I do know quite a few of the horses from the pointing background. The Goliath de Burley horse at the top of the market, Love Sign Dunno, I think it's called. He won at Lockhamore last year. Jer Quinn fought a lot of him. I had heard mixed reports about him in Willys, but he absolutely bolted up. But that was over 2 mile free, I think, in heavy ground. Whether he's going to quite have the tactical speed, I'd question. A horse I do think the world of is the Irish Avatar of Willys, that I think the second horse that was well behind him bolted up on Sunday as well, so his form looks very good. And a couple of others in the race I know well. Diamond Door, I bought for Adrian Keatley, won by 20 lengths at Ayr. He looked very good that day. Hopefully he can have a good each way chance, but it's going to be a big difference from Ayr to Cheltenham obviously, but he looks a horse with hopefully a big future, and I'm sure Mickey will also touch upon the other horse I bought in the race, so I'll leave that to him.
Go on then, Mick.
Yeah, we got a horse called Nimber entered in it. We think the world of him. He works like an absolute beast at home. Don Devereaux's done a very good job of riding him out at home every day because he's hard work. But he has really done a brilliant job on him. And when we took him to Catterick, we were scared he wouldn't blow his top, but he was okay, and he bolted up, and hopefully if everything goes well, he's 50 to 1.
50 to 1.
You never know.
He's in lump on, is that what we're saying?
Good
on day two.
No.
It always proves sensible to follow Willie Mullins in this race, and the Irish Avatar is the horse that I had sort of marked down, but he's second favourite, so he easily picked. Be great for Mickey and there if his horse can run well. I really hope he does for him. And there's Out of Africa, who's 33 to 1. He's a horse that won a point-to-point for me before I sold him to Cromwell. I'd like to see him run well, but this champion bumper, it's anything could happen, couldn't it? It's not really one for betting in for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Any thoughts down the end there, boys?
Oh, I just think it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
Everything's got a 1 by its name.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think if you haven't got an opinion, don't force it. And James?
Well, I'd love to ride Nimber, but
Love to ride it. Who else is riding it?
yeah, no, I'd love to give it a go anyway. Yeah.
Nico de Bonville.
No. I rode against Bass Hunter a couple of times. Twice he's won, and I'd say he's a jet, but they're all jets in this. So
Yeah.
I thought you did it. Sorry, I thought you did it unreal the day at Ascot. Like the speed he went, and he just kept going.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a brilliant performance.
Yeah, I think it's a race though. It's
who has that horse?
a jet in a field full of jets, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's very difficult.
Yeah, could
So,
I know the name.
all right, there, boys.
Yeah, sorry.
You're trying to pronounce something.
No.
So we'll go through any picks elsewhere on the day then, boys. Sean and Diva Bleu might run in the Coral Cup. We've got a few actually connections with the Coral Cup here. Do you want to talk about his chances? Is he going to run?
Yeah, he's a possible. He's a horse that we've always thought a lot of, but he's been near on impossible to train up till now. So
he won Weatherby bumper, didn't he, a long time ago?
Yeah.
And he looked like an absolute aeroplane, didn't he?
yeah, looked like a rocket, felt like a rocket, and then he didn't run for about 18 months afterwards. He's been a frustrating horse, but if he stays in one piece, I thought his Newbury run in the Jerry Field, and looking back on it now, we were disappointed on the day that we got beat by Tutti Quanti. And then he went on to do that in the William Hill Hurdle. So, that form's strong, and he's trained for this race. So, yeah, if he turns up, he'll have a good chance.
And do you think he'll cope? How do you think he'll cope with? Obviously, he's running the Jerry Field, but this is up a notch in terms of intensity. Is he the sort of horse who could cope with a big field handicap?
Yeah, he goes up. He goes up in trip. He won over 2.5. Sorry, at Aintree last time, hard on the bridle, but yeah, I think just 2.5 will help him. He's obviously travelled around in some good 2-mile races, and I think over 2.5 he'll have no problem sort of travelling and finding things easy in the early part of the race.
Yeah, James, Jinko Blue and Iberico Lords.
Yeah, obviously won an Iberica Lord last time. He went up 8
Great
for
ride.
that. Cheers. He went up 8, which isn't ideal, and after his looking back on his form, he hasn't done much off that higher mark, and this is going to be a lot more competitive than the Lanzarote, I believe, and Jinko Blue I think could run a very good race in it. He ran really well last time after a long layoff, and he'll come on for it. So I worked him at Kempton as well, actually. he went really well just behind Django Bay in that piece of work. So I would, I think he could run really well in it.
Yeah, he's around 33 to 1, but he's a classy horse and he hasn't had much racing recently and had a run though, so could run well.
Is he 33 to 1?
Oh, my notes he was. What have you got?
16.
Oh,
They saw him work at Kempton now.
yeah. They saw you were on him at Kempton.
Yeah.
Dan, you bought Lanesborough, is that right?
Yeah, bought Lanesborough, who I think's in a couple of races. He's a horse who probably just not loved the ground last time. It'll be a big price, and I'm sure the lads will be delighted if he runs into a place. But he's been a very fun horse for him, and yeah, he could just run onto a place on nicer ground at a trip, which will be suitable.
Tom, Mickey, any other thoughts on day 2?
None for me.
The horse Charles Burns is quite interesting at the top of the market. I'm not sure if he's going for the Moor Battle. You wouldn't read too much into the form. He's obviously running well into places. I haven't looked the horse up. The internet's not quick enough. But
Ask Sean Bowen about that
Sean
one.
rode him last time, I think.
did he? Oh, well done, Sean. Come on, fill us in.
So
You riding him in the Moor Battle?
if you're implying he was stopping him, then he hasn't been stopped.
No, he was well backed for Leopardstown last time. I think he went off 5-2 favourite for a...
Oh, I saw you dropped him out too far, yeah.
Yeah, for a 20-runner handicap, obviously very competitive, but they bet him like he couldn't get beat. He travelled round like he couldn't possibly get beat, and then didn't really find much off the bridle. That ground was near on bottomless, so whether a bit nicer ground might help him, but he's I just wasn't impressed with how he hit the line. But obviously he's trained by a genius in Charles Burns, and he knows how to get one ready for a handicap.
Right, let's move on to day 3 then, and then the 240 on day 3 is the Mares Hurdle. Now, this race is a little bit up in the air because Lossiemouth is odds on currently, but I think there's still a chance she'll run in the Champion Hurdle. She's probably the likely winner if she runs. Woodoo is probably the likely winner if she doesn't. Any thoughts, chaps, or anything in the race apart from those two? Who will win, do you think? Dan?
I think it's pretty clear, like you said, if Lossiemouth turns up, she probably wins, and if she doesn't turn up, Woodoo looks by far the best then. So I don't think it's a race we can probably talk about for too long. I don't think so anyway.
Perfect. Well, I think unless anyone else got to say, stop me or I'll carry on. So the 320, one of the part of the traditional Big Four, the Paddy Powers Stayers Hurdle, although I've seen it's been moved from the feature slot of 4 o'clock that every other big race is on the day, so the Ryanair is now in that slot. 3 miles, obviously, the stay-in hurdle race rather of the year. Plenty to pick in this. You can make a case for quite a few of them. Tiapu won the race 2 years ago. Second, Bob Ollinger last year. He's probably the one to beat. He's at the head of the market, 7-4. Honesty Policy won a 2 mile 4 Grade 1 novice at Aintree last year. He was third in the long walk behind Impostoir and Sean Bowen on the second horse last time, but he's likely to improve. Bob Ollinger, 3 from 3 at the festival, 4 from 4 at Cheltenham, but he is now an 11-year-old. He's 6-7-1. Cabral Matan, got to prove he stays. He's only 6, but he's been travelling and winning very, very impressively, and I think the Skeltons have been tempted into running him, which I don't blame them on at all. Then Marchand 2, he's the improver, another improver rather. Won the Cleve last time out, where Impostoir arguably disappointed. He got £6 off him that day. And then Ballyburn, Turner's winner previously. I think Paul Townend's called him a 2.5 miler rather than a 3 or a 2 miler. I thought he had half a chance if there was no pace on and they ran him in this. He popped out and got a soft lead and settled. But Mick, what do you think?
Well, now Paul Townend said that, I didn't realise he said that because I thought he's from a very staying pedigree, Ballyburn, and I would have thought he'd had a half a chance in this.
So he ran well over 3 miles a few months ago, disappointed then next time over 3 miles. So I think he's not really been settling though, so I think that's probably why Paul's saying that.
Yeah. Well, if he had an easy lead though, he'd be...
Well, that'd be my plan, just drive on, isn't it?
Drive on.
Tom?
Yeah.
Is Ballyburn going to run in this, is he?
I'm not sure. I think.
No, I think we just made this up.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's conspiracy.
Sorry, I
Like he's
wasn't
entered in
listening.
this.
I wasn't listening.
He's entered,
Sorry.
That's fair enough, Tom. I wouldn't hold that against you. He's entered in this. He's entered in the champion hurdle.
Yeah.
I think if there's a 2.5 mile race, it'd definitely be in that. I'd say if he popped out in this and no one took him on and he actually dropped the bridle, off a chance.
Yeah, it's not a race I've looked at, to be truthful.
We come back to you.
Yeah, I do.
think Tiapu has to win.
Tiapu deserves to win the Stayers. I think he's arguably got the best form, but for whatever reason, every time at Cheltenham seems to find one too good. I think no one could have really fancied Bob Ollinger to beat him last year. Whether he could do it again or something else is going to come and beat him again, which I think could be honesty policy. He ran a blind at Ascot. He hasn't got loads of experience, but that you could also say he's open to improvement because of that. And I think he looks like the one who could potentially give Tiapu most to think about and could well head him, just like Bob Ollinger did 12 months ago.
James?
Yeah, Tiapu, if you took him out the race, it'd be a very open race, but he's the obvious one. Cabral de Matan as well, he's been extremely impressive, and I think he's a very quick horse, but there's a massive question mark about him staying. He can pass me like I was stood still last time, and yeah, 3 mile is definitely a question mark. I might ride Doddy the Great in it, and hopefully I can nick a bit in it.
Said he worked like a Trojan at Kempton, didn't he?
Oh, I worked all over everything, yeah. I'm saying that about every horse I rode at Kempton, mate, so like, they actually all did go well.
You did say seriously that he did work really well there. And he always runs his race. He's around 51, 66 to 1 biggest price running to a place.
Yeah, like he
Worst bets, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like Impostoire is 12 to 1, and he's not like miles behind him. And yeah, I think he could run a big race around Cheltenham as well. He won round there last year. I know it was the attempts, but I think he could run a really good race.
Sean?
Yeah, I actually thought when Honesty Policy was third the last day, I thought he'd sort of be the stayer you'd be looking forward to for the next few years. The only thing that worries me is he's a 6-year-old, and I know that's old enough, but it turns into a bit of a war, this race sometimes, especially when they go a bit of a gallop. I didn't think Cabral de Matan would stay. Marchantou has improved loads, and Bob Ollinger's obviously 11-year-old now, but he's been trained for the race. I actually think it's between Tiapu and Bob Ollinger, just because they've got the experience and they're older horses, and they'll take the hardship, whereas probably some of the youngsters will find it hard.
Perfect, right, we'll move on to
Sorry, do you know whether Florent Porter runs in it?
Sorry?
Florent Porter?
I didn't think he does. I know when he ran him over fences last time, they were talking about going to the National, weren't they?
Right, yeah, I know. I was just thinking, like, do you know you said about having an easy lead? Like, Ballyburn could easily, there's nothing...
Oh, nothing to take
there's
on.
no pace.
Yeah.
And, like, then if there's no pace, like, Cabral de Matan could easily run a very good race. Do you know what I mean?
I actually thought if Ballyburn ran in it, if he popped out and got if there was no one to take him on and he chucked the reins on him, like he'd get some freebie, wouldn't he?
What would take, like, there isn't anything in there, is there? There's nothing in there pops out.
No, most of them are Irish,
Hewick.
so they're a bit more sensible, aren't they? Marchantou takes the lead.
Hewick might pop out, but he can only go 25 mile per hour these days.
Yeah, so there you go.
Might have to make the running myself.
Donny the Great, scuppering Ballyburn's chances.
Sit on his gear.
Right then, the Ryanair over 2 mile, 4.5 furlong. All a bit up in the air of who's these are going to run in the race. Factor File, he could potentially go to the Gold Cup. I think he'd win this if he ran in this. So we're going to need a second choice as well, I think, if you fancy Factor File. Gaelic Warrior again, he may run in this if Factor File goes to the Gold Cup, or vice versa, or they may, I think there's a chance they may both go to the Gold Cup. John Bond could even be left as favourite. He's 9 to 2 if neither of those run. Hartwood was second in this race last year, 7 to 1. Romeo Coolio's going to run in the Arkle. Banbridge Gold Cup, Elite Tomp, champion chase. Impere Pass. Now I thought he's a horse who could run well. 8-1, biggest price for me. Returned after a layoff, looked really good last time. Dan, talk us through it. How do you see it?
I think Factor Fire will definitely run it and he'll definitely win it. And I know that's a bit boring, but there's JP wants Cheltenham winners. He's already got the Gold Cup winner from last year running in that, and Factor Fire will run here and win.
Sean?
Oh yeah, Factor File runs, he's an absolute nailed on
We
certainty.
need a second choice of everyone.
Yeah, if he runs his absolute nailed on certainty, Factor File, and yeah, if he was mine, I'd be going there because everyone wants a Cheltenham winner. Gaelic Warrior obviously looks like he'll go for the Gold Cup. I don't think John Bon enjoys Cheltenham at all, to be honest. I'd love Romeo Coolio to take his chance in this. I know it's outside of novice company, but if Factor File and Gaelic Warrior didn't run, I think he'd have a massive chance, but he's probably not going to, is he? So as far as the second option goes, I was obviously second on Banbridge in the King George. It was a very good run. 2-5 run there will suit, but yeah, it's.
Do you think they might, because they ran in the Gold Cup last year, Banbridge ran in the Gold Cup last year, disappointed. Do you think they might run in this race if it cuts up?
Yeah, James actually brought his name up to me, so it's probably James' idea about Banbridge. But yeah, I think yeah, you'd come back in trip rather than up in trip. Yeah.
Yeah. James,
Um,
Banbridge.
Are we saying Gaelic Warrior runs in the Gold Cup?
Yeah, I really think it's up in the air. So I think
Yeah. I don't really want to pick one, to be honest, because you could scroll like quite far down before you find a definite runner in the race.
Yeah.
And like it could look so different after decks.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Leave it then.
Yeah.
Dan, Tom, sorry.
I think it's been, everything's been said really.
Yeah. Mickey?
Well, I think, has anyone mentioned John Bon? Was he running it?
He could potentially run it. If he runs in Cheltenham, I think he'll run in this race. And I think I've got a feeling he'll run in the race.
Yeah.
He's
I
obviously,
don't, but they'll run Factor File in the Gold Cup, surely.
well, we don't know, I suppose.
Yeah.
Dan
And
certainly
then-
won't, and you certainly will. So.
Yeah. And then you got Banbridge with Sean, travelled very well in the visors in the King George. And he looked like he could, if anything, go back in trip. Travelled really well. But I think John Bond's got a tremendous chance and will improve for going 2.5. So otherwise it's just getting boring, isn't it? You just got Factor File and Gaelic
Yeah,
Warrior.
I see what you mean. And like, I picked this horse, but it might
Yeah.
not run. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Impere Pass for me, 10-1. He's top class really, and I think he does jump a bit right, so he'd have to overcome that a little bit. But yeah, I think it's a tricky race really to pick through. Otherwise, what have we got connected on the day? Anyone got any rides, runners, bought or trained horses?
As far as handicaps go, they're both favourites, so it's probably a little bit boring. But I actually thought Regent Stroll has been trained for the race. Paul Nicholls obviously knows how to get one ready. I think he's nicely handicapped off 145 with a weight of 11.4 at the minute. So I think he has a massive chance. And then in the Potemps, there's a horse being laid out for it all year by Dan Skelton called Supremely West. Yeah, the stewards actually had Harry in one day for going on the wrong part of the track, so they said he should have gone on the outside, not the inside, which is a rare one. But I think the stewards even know what the Skeltons have been playing at with him, and I think he's a horse that could be very, very well handicapped.
Yeah, I think he's been picked up by a lot. You ride the Bluesman in the Jack Richards?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. He was very impressive now at Haydock only a couple of weeks ago. He's a horse that's improved massively, very, very quickly. He'll be a horse that's probably ridden to pick up the pieces a little bit, and I think he could definitely run into a place being ridden that way.
James, it looks like Heracles Westwood might run in the Kim Muir. Will he have a chance?
Jericho de Rapine will probably win that one though, won't he?
Yeah, nice, yeah.
He's obviously been laid out for it, and
He'd probably be like a 3-1 favourite for it, would he?
Yeah, he probably will, but so he should be. He's a good
Yeah.
horse, and it wouldn't, like a couple of years ago I thought he'd be running in grade 1s and not in this race, so yeah, I think he's had enough runs now to, like, he's been a bit soft, and like his first couple of runs over fences he didn't look really man enough, but last time we're at Windsor, I know he's beaten a good way, but it was obvious that he'd manned up a bit, and I think he'll be ready for this now.
He's looked half asleep all season. Some horses don't always find it that easy to switch on. They almost need a run. Well, is Henderson good at switching them on when the time comes, if you know what I mean?
I'd say he's the most perfect horse to do this job with, because he'll just do whatever he wants, and you don't need to ask him to come back.
I think we seem to think that JB is going to win plenty of handicaps back.
Anything else on day 3? Right, we'll move on then to the final day, and we'll start with the Triumph Hurdle. Narciso Haas was favourite for this race after the DRF, and looked like a little bit like Meet Me by the Sea in the way he went through the race, in the sense that he looks completely unflappable, looks a few gears quicker and better than him. But he's now out of the race. Proactive is now favourite, so big disaster for Willie Mullins. His favourite is out of the race, so he's now only got the first, second favourite, and 5th, 6th and 8th in the betting, so slightly weakened hand for him. Proactive beat Macho Man, another one who's towards the top of the market. He's 10-3. Selma Daveri, I thought, was very eye-catching behind Narciso Haas at the DRF. That was her, I think it's her, first run, and I think she would be the one for me. I think she'd take a big step forward. She was ridden, I think, to come on from that. Then we got Manella Studies, 2 from 3 over hurdles, won the Triumph Trial. Maestro Conti did well to win last time for the Skeltons in another Triumph Trial. He was far too keen, and yeah, I thought he did well to overcome that. Monge 2 was behind Narciso Haas previously, and Selma Daveri last time, and then Macho Man. Dan, do you want to talk us through the race, how you see it?
So I actually know the filly of Willie's pretty well, because we have quite a lot to do with the Sea Praise in France, who they bought her off. She's a filly with a hell of a lot of ability, but she wears a hood. She was way too keen the first couple of runs in France, and then bolted up at Auteuil. And I just personally, while she was a massive eye catcher at DRF, I would just question whether she's going to be able to keep a lid on her there. She runs in a hood. Paul dropped her in last at DRF, and just whether she'll be able to be ridden like that and win round Cheltenham would be my only question mark. Manella Study's rock solid. He's probably one of them. Everyone's going to keep knocking him and say he's not good enough to keep winning, but he won well last time, and as Sean said before, his form does look very good. And won a big prize. The other Manella horse, Michaela Academy, yeah. He won it. He's only ran once and won at Cork, but John Allen was convinced this was a serious horse, and I think he's about 33-1. I know he's not ran for Willie yet, but as we've seen when he won the Triumph last year on first run for Willie, he has done it before, and at a massive price. If he does run, he could just be interesting.
I think in this race 20 years ago, we'd probably have 20, 30, 50 runners, as they like always say, how many big the fields used to be back in the day. But this race could probably be like a 7, 8, 10 runner field this year. 10 runners perhaps, something like that. And that would probably help Selma Daveri's chances. She could drop in cold there. James, you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, that's because you have to have a rating of over 120 now, don't you, to run the Triumph. So that's probably why it's going to be.
Yeah, and I suppose it's just been a sort of trend going on as well, isn't it? Just people running less. But what do you think in the race?
Manella horse qualified?
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. They've changed how you qualify for. I'm not sure if the Manella horse will be qualified, because
I thought you just had to run once, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, you could be right. Yeah. And he's won, so he should be getting a mark. I don't have any opinion on it, to be honest, out of this race.
Sean?
Yeah, no, it's a very tough race to pick a winner of. Thought Manella Study's been impressive. Like, he's only rated 69 on the flat. Like, you wouldn't expect him to go and be a top class horse over jumps, but he seems to be impressive. Thought the Dan Skelton horse Maestro Conti has been good. If he switches off, but yeah, it's very, very hard to pick a winner of the race.
Tom?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm looking down here thinking which one. It's there's plenty of horses in there with some nice form. I don't know. I mean, what's the word on field gut?
Oh, it's out, isn't it?
It's not.
I was just going to say I don't think it runs.
Right.
I might be wrong.
Oh, just
Do you know that?
the old Nick Daly was out for the year or something.
Oh, is he? Okay. Oh yeah, I did see that as well.
In James's yard, by the way.
Yeah, it's an absolute lottery for me. I wouldn't know where to begin without. I'd want plenty of time to read through that to try and
then
get
force
any
it,
chance.
Mick.
I'll be the same. I'll be just picking out the sky here, but Manila Study maybe. He's rated 138, got some very good form. But there's a lot of good form in it, so yeah, I will be betting in this one.
Yeah.
But I do anyway.
I'd take a chance on Selma Deveri settling. I thought she looked very good. She breezed past 5 of them in about 3 strides at the DRF before getting a bit tired, so she'd be the one for me. And she was ridden to as if she'd need the run as well a little bit. So moving on then to the 320, the final novice hurdle of the meeting there, Albert Bartlett, the Spuds race as they call it, over 3 mile. Dr. Steinberg heads the betting. We've discussed him in the Turners earlier. They did discuss, I think Connections made it seem more likely he was coming here than the Turners, so he's 3-1 or 3.5-1 for this. But I think if they started saying he was going to go to the Turners, he'd probably go to 3-1 in that and shorten in that race. Then the Devil You Know, who I think finished just ahead of James at Doncaster, is that right? Was you second to that?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah.
For Paul Nolan. He's got a pretty much perfect record, bar being beaten by Dr. Steinberg. I've heard the trainer say he really hopes that horse runs in a different race because he'll have a great chance otherwise. Then No Drama this end, who likely go to the Turners, I think. Espresso Milano's 2 from 2 for Willie. Looks a straightforward type. Sortudo, 16s in the Turners and is around 14s in this. Second to Al, sort that. And then a couple for Gordon, Spinning a Yarn and Kaczynski. Dan, could you pick through this race a little bit for us?
I think Dr. Steinberg looked an absolute weapon last time. As Sean said, he probably was a little bit too keen. I think was he the second day when it was very soft ground, but he still managed to win very impressively. And if he can at all switch off, he's going to be extremely hard to beat. Patchy Tribe was very impressive last time. What he beat, probably not a lot, and he did absolutely sprint after the last to kind of, in my head, is he an Albert Bartlett horse? This race is kind of always a proper test of stamina. And that might well bring in Spinning the Yarn, who all he does is gallop. Sean Doyle always fought a lot of the horse for his pointing days. He won his point in very soft ground, very impressively. And if it did come up soft ground, he will keep going and maybe keep going past Dr. Steinberg. But I'm finding it hard to get away from Dr. Steinberg after how impressive he was the last day.
Yeah, it's a race that's traditionally known as a horse for slightly older novices or a horse with loads of experience. But I think a couple of Willie horses with less experience have broken that trend in the last couple of years. And I think Dr. Steinberg could do that. James, how do you see it?
I don't really know many of the horses in this race, but Johnny's Jury, Jamie Snowden's horse, I actually rode it in a maiden hurdle around Foss last for Henderson, and I actually really liked him, but I don't know, he's entered in the 2.5 mile race as well, and he won last time at Carlisle really impressively, but he's a bit slow and just keeps galloping, and that's kind of the thing you need in this race. He's a big price, but
What sort of price is he?
he's 40-1 on my phone.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of just picking one because I don't really know any of the other horses.
Yeah. Okay. Sean?
Yeah, I think if Dr. Steinberg, obviously I think wherever he goes he has a massive chance. I think if he settles, I think it's an absolute certainty. It would worry me a little bit how keen he was, but again, the ground probably won't be as soft at Cheltenham as it was at Leopardstown, so he probably is a certainty, isn't he? Dan just mentioned a horse called Apache Tribe. I was actually very, very impressed with him at Ayr. Look, it wasn't much of a race, but I just thought he was a lovely horse. He's probably not going to be good enough to win an Albert Bartlett straight away after one run over hurdles, but he's probably a horse to keep on side for the future. He'll probably be a lovely chaser next season. Might see him in sort of the good novice chasers next season.
Perfect. Right, we'll move on then to the Cheltenham Gold Cup, the blue ribbon of the whole meeting, over 3 mile, 2.5 furlongs. It looks like an unbelievable race this year. Sometimes you have sort of short price favourites and then horses start dodging them, but this race is packed and how Gold Cup should be really. Factifile, he needs to be supplemented, but I think he's somewhere near the top of the betting. Django Bay is an Arkle winner last year. He's a second season chaser and was 4th in the King George last time, but I thought he enhanced his Gold Cup credentials, finishing 4th in that race. Gaelic Warrior, an Arkle winner previously, was second to Factifile last time out at Leopardstown. He was far too keen on that occasion. I think he'd probably would probably settle better. I think they were all a bit spread out that day, and he got a bit of a run on Patrick Mullins. Jukebox Man, he's around 6 to 1. He's 4 from 4 over fences. King George winner. Haiti Claus, the Welsh Challenge. He's won a Welsh national and an Irish national. And the Sean Bowen here. He's around 8 to 1. Galloping Champ, 2-time winner. He's been below that level though, and 2 starts this season, finishing 3rd both times. Arguably needed the first run and hadn't got over his first run for a second run, so could improve. I know the way you're thinking. Last year's winner, terrible since. Spillane Tower got his career back on track last time in the Cotswold Chase. Grey Dawn in Iron Maximus. Envoy LN, 12-year-old, kept fresh since winning the Down Royal Champion Chase. I actually thought a 40 to 1. He's a 12-year-old, but he's a 3 times festival winner. I think he'll retire after this race, I think is the plan. So, plenty to talk through. James, I understand you've got a strong opinion on Sean's ride in this race and his chances.
Why did you say that?
You told me yesterday, you told me you're going to just like take Sean on all day.
Yeah, I can't see it. Haiti Claus, sorry. I know, I should be positive about it because he's my brother, but yeah. I think it's mental that he went up £7 for his last win, by the way. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Like 166 now, but and if he runs that mark, I mean, he'd have a chance, but I don't think he will.
Luckily, Sean's chances have absolutely no bearing on what your opinion is on the race. So
Exactly. Yeah.
who do you think's going to win there?
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry. I think Django Bay will win, to be honest. But obviously, if that grey horse runs, the Splendid Grey. No, I don't know. Django Bay, I think will win. He'll love the trip. he'll love 3 mile 2, stepping up to 3 mile 2, and the last day in Kempton, they hacked and sprinted a bit. Not sprinted, but you know, like they were going some all the way up the straight, and he really takes a long time to get going, and I think 3 mile 2 round Cheltenham will really suit him.
Sean, not so much your punting angle now, but how do you see the race as the jockey of a horse with a proper chance in the race?
Yeah.
Talk us through how you see them all and your chances.
Lucky for me, James doesn't have a clue what he's on about. So, no, yeah, obviously, really, really looking forward to it. First of all, like it's a race that everybody dreams of winning when you start riding. So it's great to be riding a horse in the race with a chance. I genuinely think he comes here with a massive chance. Like James obviously has his opinion on it, but I just think he loves Cheltenham. Which is a huge factor in all of it. He stays very, very well. Sort of native river, went and won a Welsh national and then went on to win a Gold Cup. It's definitely possible, and he's a horse that's progressed all the time. Yeah, like I say, he'll stay, he'll jump, and I think he'll travel very well. I think a few people suggested putting cheek pieces on him after the last day, but I thought it was quite ideal, the race, as in no one really took him on. He was racing quite lazily out in front on his own, and he had a really nice prep run, quickened up the straight and didn't have to do a whole lot. So I thought his prep run went very, very well, and I think everything everything there will be perfect for him on the day. Look, whether he's good enough or not, I don't know, but he'll have conditions that will suit him well.
So I'll be watching the race, as a lot of people will be here, supporting you. Obviously, if James Rice is spending grey, then split loyalties. But focusing on the sort of confirmed runner here and jockey. When you're down at the start and you jump off the first half mile, what's like the perfect setup for you? Do you want a bit of room? Do you want to jump out and be in the front couple? Do you want to be upside something? How do we know after half a mile that things are going how you want them to go?
Yeah, look, I think a strong gallop will only suit him. Look, if we could have one or two to just tow him along in front, and we were sat second or third with a little bit of room on the outside of them, it would be perfect. I think he took it up halfway in the National Hunt Chase last time at Cheltenham, and I never seen him for the rest of the race. He just kept going and going, so he stays well. I think a strong gallop will suit him. It's a race where they go an end-to-end gallop. I've only ridden in it once and couldn't quite believe the speed we jumped off at and still finished at the same speed. They're very, very good horses, but I think Haiti's definitely a horse that's going to stay very well, which you need.
Do you think it's going to be a race with like 8 line up and then 1 or 2 set? Everyone going to want a good posse? And who do you think? Do you think something's going to take you along?
Yeah, of course. Everyone's going to want a nice position. Whether there's front runners or not, we'll just end up going a very, very strong gallop. It's just such a good race. And yeah, I think if he gets in a rhythm early, he'll definitely be thereabouts.
I think there's every chance you could make the running, is it?
Yeah, and if he makes a run, and he nearly made all in the National Hunt Chase and a Welsh Nationals, so that won't be any hindrance to us. So
I think if you jump the first upsides and he's taking you forward, you won't be pulling back anyway.
Exactly, yeah. He was never put in sort of a competitive situation the last day at Newbury in the Denman Chase. I just jumped off on my own and lolloped away in front and was never taken on. And I think the minute he heard a horse behind him and he got competitive, he literally took off, and I was surprised the way he quickened up the straight at Newbury. So yeah, he's a horse that likes competition, and once you're out over the first few fences and in a rhythm, whether he makes or sits second or third, we'll be happy if he's past the line in front.
If like say Affordable Fury now, that's the only real other one that pops out. If that's in front of you, jumping right, like, what's the plan then?
Stay out his way.
Which side?
On his left.
Yeah, I know, but like whoever's riding that is gonna stay down.
I'll
stick
put him
down
through the wing.
Yeah.
Dan?
I think it's probably the most open Gold Cup we've had for a lot of years. Jukebox Man, I was convinced the first time he went to Kempton last year for the Quarter Star that he wouldn't go right-handed. So the fact he's going back left-handed, I find it hard to believe why Django Bay will reverse the form. I know it would be an unbelievable trading performance for him to come back and win it, but I know the way you're thinking is 12-1, and I know there has been a bit of money for him again the last couple of days, which maybe suggests they think they might be getting him back, and Gavin's horses are running better. I mean, if you thought after he passed the line last year that he'd be 12-1 for the race next year, but obviously he's got to prove a hell of a lot now. But let's be honest, JP probably told him to have him highline for this one race all year, I'd say.
Yeah, he's probably well handicapped coming into the race as well after the last couple of starts, isn't he? Not joking, obviously. Tom, how do you see it?
Yeah, I think it's a great race. I can't see why Sean won't be able to make the running personally. If that's what he chooses to do, I think he'll get a relatively, not a soft lead as such, he'll set his own fractions.
Comfortable lead.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And he knows what speed he's going. He's one of the few jockeys that does know what speed he's going, actually.
The other James?
But I mean, it's a great race, isn't it? There's Django Bay. I mean, it's a absolute cracker. I can't wait to watch it. But the one horse I just can't get off my mind is Grey Dawning. I mean, he didn't look like he wanted to be at the races the last time he ran. I think it was purely a racecourse gallop. I think the Skeltons have really had this race in mind for him this year, and they've proven they can do it. They can produce a horse. I think Grey Dawning at 16-1 for me. If I was having an each-way bet, I would be. I don't know why, but I've just got a feeling that he's going to run a really big race. I think Sean's got a great chance, personally. I think he's the horse to. He hasn't done a whole lot wrong. You'd forgive him his run after when he pulled up. I think that came just far too quickly, didn't it? But no, it's a fab race, and one even if you didn't have a bet, it'll be a great spectacle.
Yeah, absolutely. Mickey, how do you see it?
Well, firstly, I hope Sean wins it and everything goes to plan and everything. But I think he's got it all to do 80 kilos. I think I know he's like as he proved it in graded company. Really, I don't think he really has. So I really think he's got a lot to prove. The Jukebox Man and the Gaelic Warrior, I think they're both class horses. So I really think the Jukebox Man will take a lot of beating in it. And Gaelic Warrior, he's a brilliant horse as well. It's just a brilliant race, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's the sort of race when you look through it, you can think, God, I forgot about him. He's got a great chance as well, isn't it? I think, for me, from a betting point of view, I think Django Bay's his favourite, but I think he has a great chance. Henderson occasionally has a slow one, a 3-miler. He's won the race, obviously, with Bobsworth, who seems like a similar-ish sort of type, and he'd be the one for me. But I really do think, from a supporter's point of view, I think 80 Claws has got a real chance, hopefully, of winning the race. So that's who I'll be shouting home, certainly. Obviously, James on Resplendent Grey as well. That's the main races then. We got any mentions for Friday then? James, the county hurdle. Chrisma is in Henderson's, and you like his chances?
I would fancy her if she got in, but she wouldn't be a definite to get in, would she? But I could easily see her get. I wouldn't be really strong on her either, but it's a very open race, isn't it? Like, I struggle to pick one out, to be honest. Yeah.
Mick Ballykinler, will that run in the boys' race?
Ballykinler, yeah. We've had him.
First run for you, is it?
It'll be his first run for us. We've had him about 8 weeks. His work has just got better and better. He did a racecourse Scarlet the other day, and it was actually unbelievable. So at 50 to 1, he's definitely a good each way bet. I think I'm the trainer. I've got to say that, but I genuinely, I genuinely believe he's got a great each way chance, and he's a lovely horse. He'd be a great chaser in the future as well.
Yeah, you'll be arriving at the course thinking you never know, we could have a chance the other day.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Tom, anything on Friday you fancy elsewhere or want to talk about?
I think if you want a banker for the meeting, it's got to be Dino Blue, isn't it?
And the Mayor's Chase?
Yeah.
What about Panic Attack?
That's back in trip, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah, it is back in trip.
Yeah.
No, I can't have her back in trip.
Dan?
Mercia in the county hurdle. I know it's a mad race to nap one in, but I would be napping her. Go back to watch the ride that Townend gave her at the DRF. I'd say there was only one race in mind, and it was this. He managed to somehow go about 4 wider than anyone else. And yeah, he finished 4th. She's a Grade 1 winner off, what is she off, 143 or something like that. She won the Grade 1 juvenile at Aintree. And I think Willie's won this however many times, probably 6 out of the last 8 years or something ridiculous. And she looks absolutely thrown in, I'd say.
Yeah. Bet of the week, boys.
James is really concerned now. He's looking at Ballykinler and he has 10 stone 3 in a county hurdle, which he can't do, or it runs in the boys' race, so he won't be right there. And I actually worked Ballykinler at Fosslas the other day. I thought he went very well. I actually think he's obviously a big price because he's having his first run for Mickey, but he did work. He did work very, very well, and I think he definitely could outrun his odds at 50 to 1.
And then for the whole meeting, a horse for us?
Haiti Color.
Come on. James?
Jericho to Rapine.
Yeah. Dan?
Mercia.
Tom, we've heard yours.
Dino Blue.
Dino Blue.
I
Mick?
thought it was Digman.
Just what's he on about?
You sort of bottled it, you did, Tom. I'm not going to repeat it. Nick?
I think Tiafu's got to win.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You've been convinced?
I think he will win. Yeah.
I think Bambino Fever in the Mares Novice Hurdle. I think she got beat by Old School Outlaw earlier in the year, but Mullins' horses weren't running that well at the time, and she won the champion bumper last year. I think she'll be very, very hard to beat. So that's all the racing. Any questions quickly before we wrap things up here, anyone? Oh, yeah?
Just one for Sean. Obviously, your hands are quite tied in the National Chase, but if Wade Out wasn't trained by Harley Murphy, would you ride that yourself?
Great question. Great question.
Oh, I can't answer that, can I?
That's what we need to do.
Yeah. Good luck, isn't it? That's a good question. Anyone else? Pete? Why didn't James ever answer his phone? Well, we know why. He's your son. Any other questions anyway? No, well, I suppose that concludes this evening. You show your appreciation for the panel for giving up their time.